Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Mr. Mayor, it's finally here, the long-awaited arrival of the local plan. Was it worth the wait? Was it worth the hype? No, it wasn't. The local plan, as of many other people said in this chamber, is sadly lacking. And what I find most intriguing about the local plan, Mr. Mayor, is the rushed end, the very forceful rushed end with the producer providing the script rewrites on Sunday. And really, that isn't enough time for councillors to really scrutinise the elements that are coming through. We need the time to fully commit to what's in front of us. A rewrite on Sunday and then going to Cabinet for Monday doesn't give enough time to look those papers over and see if we think they're right or not. Another thing that I find rather interesting, of course, is the sheer lack of unity on the Conservative benches opposite me. Not just on the benches themselves, but in the Cabinet. The Cabinet does not have a unity on this. And Mr. Mayor, I'm going to provide some examples of the lack of unity in the Cabinet. So let me take you back to 2011, October 2011, when Cabinet met. And Cabinet had in front of them some bits and pieces for the local plan, including the Dunworth sites. One such site was the Basingstoke Golf Club. Now, the Cabinet member for planning at the time, who is now the Cabinet member for housing, was happy to approve these sites, so much so that when he was asked by a golfing magazine, and indeed I've got the online version here, he said, "We are looking to develop new housing in the area, and finding sites for this is not always easy. We are very pleased that the members of the golf club have voted to sell the land." However, on Monday night just gone, Monday the 22nd, this particular councillor said that he could not support the local plan and that the golf club was not a suitable site. Why the sudden change of mind? I also want to mention the Deputy Leader, who, as Councillor Beerman mentioned earlier, there was a document laid out for us today as we came in. Some of us got this document a lot earlier. I received this document this morning, and indeed the Deputy Leader did ask me if I would keep it to myself for now. I'm sorry, Deputy Leader, that's simply not going to happen. And indeed, if any members that didn't get it would like a copy of the email, please see me. I will be happy to provide such documents. Also, 2 full councils ago, a member of the Conservative benches made a comment which the Deputy Leader smiled at. The comment that a member made was, if anybody says the phrase, "this isn't political," then it usually probably is. This particular member that said this quote will be happy to hear that the Deputy Leader made this phrase twice. And indeed, he said it again a 3rd time tonight. So am I to assume that the amendment that was Labour is now withdrawn is triply political than it intentionally was meant to be? The other thing I want to ask is, why the sudden interest in Bramley from the Deputy Leader? Back in 2011, when the member was elected for Bramley, he stood as a candidate for the Welsh Assembly. Would the residents of Bramley like to know that reason why? Why was he standing on 2 pages on one day? That's something for him to answer later down the line, I believe. But, as I said, these 2 members of Cabinet, they don't agree with the local plan. And the Cabinet is meant to show collective responsibility. Now, if these 2 members of the Cabinet don't wish to display that role of collective responsibility, will they now be considering their position? That's a question I will also leave them to ponder and answer at a later stage in time. With the wider aspect, we know that the Conservatives, thank you Mr Mayor, we know that the Conservatives are fighting with each other on the plan, and I have to say, they are not divided, they are disintegrating. So how can we as councillors, getting back to the main point, how can we as councillors, and indeed the wider public, support a plan that even the members opposite cannot commit and convince themselves? Thank you Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Cubitt.